Hey, what is up everybody? It is I, DPX here. Welcome to another video. E3 just concluded, and I figured why not let's try to figure out who had the best E3 press conference this year. Spoiler alert, there aren't many options. So we have a tier list here. I made videos about a lot of these I didn't though, so I won't dwell on all of them for too long, so we'll just get right into it. But before we do that, you know what to do. You should like this video, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell, leave a comment, or I'll combust. Anyways, we start off with Bandai Namco. I didn't review this one, because quite frankly, there's only one game. One game. I don't even remember what the game was, but that was it. I also didn't want to review it. Even if there was more games, I just didn't want to make a video about it. So yeah, that's my take on it. Honestly, I think it's F tier, honestly. Like, they had one game and I don't even remember what it was. Capcom. See, Capcom had games, but the thing is about Capcom's presentation, they said, expect updates on games like Resident Evil Village, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. So we tune into that, and we get updates on games like Resident Evil Village, Monster Hunter Rise, Monster Hunter Stories 2, and The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. But surely they're gonna have like other stuff, right? Nope. No, they had nothing else. Nothing else. I think Capcom's also an F tier. They had nothing. They really didn't have anything. Like, the DLC for Resident Evil Village sounds exciting, but, like, we know nothing about that. And, oh yeah, they also said that next month, Re:Verse will be going live. But, like, there's nothing really that big that they showed. And Ace Attorney Chronicles looks good, but it's not really the most exciting game. Like, the gameplay isn't, like, the most exciting gameplay you can have, so wasn't a good pick to have that as your main game at an E3 showcase. Honestly, they could have just had 3 of these games shown in Nintendo's event because they're on Nintendo platforms, and they could have had like a press release for Resident Evil Village. Honestly, they didn't need to have this press conference. Devolver Digital. I didn't make a video about Devolver Digital, but they had a pretty funny press conference. I don't remember any of the games being too memorable, but it was funny. It was entertaining. They were making fun of Ubisoft. They literally called it like the Devolver Forwarder or something like that, making fun of Ubisoft Forward. Which you got some guts doing that. And for the whole thing, they were promoting this streaming service throughout the whole video, the whole presentation. And by the end of the presentation, you learned that it was fake. This streaming service doesn't exist. So it was entertaining, but as for like a presentation, a gaming presentation, I don't know. I'll put it A tier though. It was really good. Future Game Show. I didn't watch, but I also didn't hear much about it. Really, I skimmed through it, so I did kind of watch it, but I didn't hear much about it. I didn't hear like much of like what came from it or anything. So I'll just put it in D. Gearbox, they had nothing. They had nothing. Like, I wasn't expecting much from Gearbox. I don't know what they would possibly have in an E3 press conference, and the answer is nothing. They had an update on Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which, by the way, I completely forgot was revealed at Summer Games Fest, so that wasn't even something new. They had DLC for Godfall, so essentially nothing. I think they had 2 other games, but I can't even remember what they were called. I remember one of them looked like a mobile game, so Gearbox was an F tier. Limited Run. They actually had a pretty entertaining press conference. They showed some cool looking indie games, some cool collector's editions. Zombies Ate My Neighbors is getting a collector's edition. Cool. I don't know if I already pre-ordered Zombies Ate My Neighbors on the eShop, so I don't know if I really need the collector's edition, but it was cool. I'll put Limited Run in an A tier. I'll do that. Nintendo, and we'll get to Microsoft later, but Nintendo and Microsoft were the 2 best parts of E3, I feel. Absolutely. Nintendo S tier. Because they had Kazuya and Smash, they had Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Dread, Mario Party, WarioWare, Advance Wars. They bring back Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water, which is big. And yeah, they had a lot of stuff. It didn't have as many exciting announcements, but the announcements there were really fucking exciting. Microsoft had a lot more exciting announcements, if you know what I mean. The PC Gaming Show, I haven't watched it. I skimmed through that just like the Future Game Show, and it looked cool. Some of the stuff on there looked cool. I feel like if I didn't watch it, I feel like C tier should be that. So yeah. Square Enix. Square Enix was disappointing. I don't want to. They're not as bad as Namco's, Capcom's, and Gearbox's, because they at least had stuff. It didn't seem like it, but they did at least have Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin, which a lot of people are a bit iffy on. I think it looks cool. I'm interested to see more from it. I've heard the demo has come out, and the demo's not very good. We'll just have to see. And Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, looks good. Again, that one, a lot of people are iffy on that one, but I think it looks promising, and especially since it's no live service game and there will not be any future DLC. I think it's I'm interested, and I might even play it. So but that was it. Nothing like Babylon's Fall looked underwhelming, and it's a live service game. So I'll put Square Enix in D tier. Summer Games Fest. Is this really a part of it? I guess it was listed on the E3 schedule, so, and it's really close to E3, so most people are just gonna lump this in. Let's see, they had they showed Elden Ring, which looks sick, by the way. Elden Ring looks awesome, and it's getting a release date of January of 2022. And then they showed the Evil Dead game, which I think looks it looks like a lot of fun. They even showed Metal Slug Tactics, which I was not expecting. I was not expecting Metal Slug Tactics, but we're getting that. That was it. So what else was shown there? Like, that was like a nice like hour-long presentation, and they showed 3 games, one of which is really like a big like holy shit game. Like, the Evil Dead looks like fun, but I don't know if it's like and same with Metal Slug Tactics. Elden Ring looks fucking sick, but I don't know. I think it's a D tier. Again, it had good announcements, but like surrounded by a lot of just who cares announcements. Take-Two, did you guys know Take-Two Interactive had a press conference this year? Did you know that? Because they pretty much didn't. They had like a press conference, but it was announced beforehand that they weren't going to reveal any new games. So I sort of just lost interest, but I still tuned in just to see what it was, and it was basically just like, we like games. So I mean, what was I expecting after finding out they'll have no games there? I don't think I should put it in F tier, because if I was expecting to see games after knowing that there were going to be no games, that's sort of my fault. But I'll put it in D tier because they didn't really need to have one. Ubisoft. Now I'll say this: Mario and Rabbids, Sparks of Hope, looks really good. Probably one of the highlights of E3 this year. Avatar is interesting. I don't know if I'll play it because I don't really care too much about Avatar. Same with Rainbow Six Extraction. Looks good. What they showed off looked really good, but I don't really know if I'm gonna play that. Riders Republic even looks like fun. I don't know if that's like the big thing here was Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So I'll put Ubisoft in a D tier. Of the ones that I reviewed, I think Capcom and Gearbox had the worst ones. Just because Gearbox had nothing. Capcom had basically nothing. Namco had one game. I didn't review Namco, but they had one game. Ubisoft, they had announcements, but it was just like, they didn't have any mobile games, which was surprising actually, but they had like they had movies and television, and they had updates on games that are already out, which is fine. Hell, my most anticipated announcement for E3 this year was a new Smash character. That's an update on a game that's been out for 3 years already. But like, they spent a lot of time talking about like Assassin's Creed Valhalla and some update coming to that game, and that just, like, that's cool. You can show that here. I'm not saying you can't do that, but spending that much time on that, like, I think that might have been the longest segment. That aside from Rainbow Six Extraction, that one went on for quite a while. But aside from that, I think the Assassin's Creed Valhalla was the longest segment in of that presentation. So yeah, and that's a game that's been out for like 6 months already. So it didn't need, like, Ubisoft's disappointed. But then again, I wouldn't say disappointed because I wasn't expecting a whole lot. Now is Warner Brothers. Theirs was weird. It's weird to rank because I was going to review it, but I decided not to because it was just a Back 4 Blood showcase. But Back 4 Blood, holy shit, that looks really good. That's basically the next, it's basically Left 4 Dead 3, just not called Left 4 Dead 3. But what's in the name? It's being done by Turtle Rock Studios, who did Left 4 Dead. Valve, they don't want to touch it though. So WB are working on Back 4 Blood, and their entire E3 presence was Back 4 Blood. And Back 4 Blood looks sick. It looks like so much fun. It's coming to Game Pass day one. So if you have an Xbox and you have Game Pass, or you have a PC and you have Game Pass, you get the game for free. Which I think that's big for Game Pass. I'm telling you, Game Pass is the #1 reason to get an Xbox right now. The #1 reason. I'll put this in B tier. It was just Back 4 Blood, but Back 4 Blood looks sick. And then Microsoft and Bethesda. I was expecting a lot from this because it was Microsoft and Bethesda, and they delivered. Bethesda showed some stuff, but they showed a CG trailer for Starfield, which looked awesome, but just a CG trailer. Redfall looked interesting, but that was also just a CG trailer. But a lot of games coming to Game Pass. 27 out of 30 games shown are coming to Game Pass day one. That's big. That is big. I don't know why you couldn't just have the other 3 on Game Pass day one. It doesn't really make much sense to me. But don't worry, because it was a really good presentation. S tier. Because I don't know which one I liked more, Nintendo's or Microsoft's. Because Nintendo had, I feel like, better announcements that were exciting, but I feel like Microsoft had more announcements that were exciting. So I don't know which one was, like, quality. You want to go for quality over quantity, but Microsoft's, I feel like, was more entertaining than Nintendo's, just because of how many announcements there were, if you know what I mean. So that's my E3 2021 showcase tier list. Yeah, not a very good one. Look at the amount on the lower end of the list, and then look at the upper end. And 3 of the ones on the upper end are ones I didn't even review. So, like, yeah, I mean, E3's back. E3 isn't dead, you know. People are saying, Nintendo, please save E3. I guess it was, if Nintendo's press conference disappointed, then this E3 would have not been a very good one. But E3's not dead. People want to see E3 die. Why? I say this a lot. I don't think it should die, because, I mean, no matter how they end up being, there's still a lot. It's just awesome. E3 is just one big old gaming Christmas event, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that was my tier list of the E3 showcases. What did you think? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Leave a comment below. Anyways, be sure to like this video, come subscribe. or I'll combust. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.